On with the show.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's another episode of the often imitated, never duplicated Voices of Misery podcast. And of course, I'm the nerd with another podcast for that ass. What's going on, people? How the hell are you doing today? Good morning. Have a nice drive to work, and I hope you guys are driving safe out there, not like the maniacs down here in South Carolina. Seems like every time I leave the house, there's a fucking accident somewhere, and it always has to be on the side of the road where I'm traveling, not the opposite side, It's always the side of the road that I'm fucking on, dude. It's just... Man, these motherfuckers don't know how to drive down here. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Everyone's in a hurry to go nowhere fast, but couple that with some bad weather, some thunderstorms, a lot of rain, and just a lot of fucking heat too, man. It's been a really miserable summer so far. It has been. Hope you guys are having a good one wherever you are right now as you're listening to the sound of my voice. What's going on with you guys? Hopefully you had a good weekend too, man. It's been a good one here. A lot of weird stuff going on over the weekend. I watched some boxing matches, and I know you guys aren't the biggest boxing fans out there, but Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, these two guys were supposed to be fighting one of the biggest fights for fucking at least a decade now. They've been talking about these two fighting, and boxing is a weird sport because these guys, they want to protect their O's. They want to be undefeated forever, and what results in that is, guys with undefeated records get paid more money, and it doesn't matter how you get that undefeated record. It's all about protecting it no matter how you got it. So a lot of these guys are just out there, fighting tin cans, like guys that they can easily beat the crap out of. And they go from 1-0 to fucking 15-0 in a matter of 2 years. And they're just fighting nobody, sometimes 2 or 3 fights in one night. Look at MMA. Same thing with Khabib Nurmagomedov. He was a guy that everyone's saying is the greatest of all time, but he had matches where he fought 3 or 4 times in a night and just grappling matches, and he won, and they gave them, a win on his UFC record. It's a little misleading, but I don't know. Anyway, the point of the story is these guys are waiting for 10 years, and they were doing the undefeated thing for a while, and these guys are both British, they're going to fight, and they never did because they were both protecting their O's. And as the years went on, these guys got older and older, and life took its toll on them, and all these wars they were in. Tyson Fury got beat up a few times. He was in some wars with Deontay Wilder. That one fucking insane trilogy of boxing matches, just guys killing each other in the ring. And then you had recent matches against Alexander Usyk, where he lost both of those fights pretty convincingly. And then, of course, you got AJ. He was getting knocked out by a couple of guys. Ruiz knocked him out. He got knocked out by Daniel Dubois, and he got knocked out by another journeyman guy, too. And he just recently came back. He fought Jake Paul. He knocked him out, and he had a couple of good fights against circus guys like Francis Ngannou. He knocked him out pretty easily and viciously. One of the most violent knockouts I've ever seen in sports. And, he was looking good for a while, and then he goes out this weekend, and both of these guys, they had tune-up fights, which are warm-up fights before the fight, which is a ridiculous idea in and of itself. And both guys look like shit. In that 10 years layoff, this should have happened 10 years ago, the fight, but now it just looks like these guys are crap. Tyson Fury went out there, he got banged around a bit, and it was a really unimpressive win for him. And Anthony Joshua got knocked down within the first 20 seconds of his fight, then knocked down another 2 minutes after that in the first round. People were saying he was going to get starched by some fucking unknown guy that no one ever fucking heard of. And then he comes back and he wins in the second round, and they're talking about this fight now we can finally get this fight. But people are looking at the performances and well, hold the fucking horns there. You guys look like shit. Waited too long, and now no one gives a fuck. But I'll still watch it. A lot of these fights are free anyway now, and I am loving one thing about this digital age where the people are putting these pay-per-view fights on regular apps like Paramount and all these other ones. And this is kind of something that I wanted to see happen for years. I know I talked about this before in the past where Nerdette and I would watch TV shows and movies, and we used to use those bootleg sites, and there used to be apps that you can download on your iPad. This is going back, the early 2010s, I guess, that era, 2010 to 2015, somewhere in between there. We used to download these bootleg apps to the iPad, and used to have to do all these weird things and VPN settings to get it to download and crack your iPad, whatever. And then you could watch these apps or whatever, or movies and shit. And we were always saying hey, you know what? It'd be nice if there was just an app that was just a movie app. Things in theaters you could watch from the comfort of your own home. You can even pay the movie theater price, but as long as you could watch it at home streaming, it'd be great. legally without the fucking pop-ups and shit. And it seems like we're finally there. Supergirl, the movie, is going to be on streaming a month after it released. I know that one did fucking terrible. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but it was pretty fucking bad. A lot of these superhero movies that are coming out now, I don't want to see them in theaters because, I don't know, man, there's just so much fucking disappointment in them. Like, I was doing some research on that Doctor Doom movie, the new one that's coming out, and there's a lot of spoilers online, and some of the spoilers sound okay, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of superhero versus superhero on the big screen. Not even in comic books, really, because it's like you don't get the satisfying conclusion. Batman versus Superman, I always feel like is a waste of fucking time because neither one's going to beat the other one convincingly or kill him convincingly. They're going to make up in the end and fight something bigger. It's just the novelty of seeing them fight has worn off because they've done it so many times in the past in comic books, and it's just really predictable. I don't know. It's just stupid. I was watching an interview with Bruce Campbell, and he was talking about Freddy versus Jason versus Ash and that rumor. And he was saying how, Ash is the only good guy from the group, but yet nobody wanted to concede that their character would lose. And, theoretically, you could have Ash beat both of them. And at the end of the movie, these guys just come back anyway because they're fucking boogeyman. They never die. You can stop them, but they never die. So you would think the satisfying conclusion would have been Ash winning, but I guess behind the scenes, they were like, no, you can't beat either one of them, and we're going to have a stalemate. And it's just like, who the fuck wants a movie with no payoff, That's how I feel about these superhero movies. It's like, I'm not going to spoil anything about the movie, obviously, for people who haven't heard anything, but there are rumors of people fighting each other, heroes fighting other heroes at multiverses and whatnot. And some of the matchups, I'm like, okay, that would be cool, but they're never going to kill this person, never going to kill that person. They're all fucking super goody two-shoes. No one wants to look bad. There's egos with the actors for some reason over characters that are created by someone else. It's just, I don't know. This is why I'm kind of in favor of AI as far as like that being the new medium for entertainment as far as movies go, because people can't fucking people right. There's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's got this no-lose contract in his movies. Like, dude, you're a fucking actor. You were losing wrestling matches, and that was more you than a character that is obviously not you. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, both of them are fake. Obviously, wrestling, you get beat up, you get pinned, and it's like, there should be more, I'm not going to lose here because my whole thing is about winning and losing, as opposed to a movie where you're playing a character, and at the end, it's about the story, not the character wins and losses. It's about the performance put in. So I don't understand this guy's fucking conundrum here. I don't know why. Like, Vin Diesel's another one. You have to win every fight. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And you have that. This ruins the whole immersion of movies, and you got contracts and shit, and people don't want to be in this movie, and you got to wait 10 years for someone to finally come back. Bill Murray, I'm looking at you with Ghostbusters. I mean, they could have had a Ghostbusters 3, 4, 5 in the 90s, but these motherfuckers were just fighting each other. And that's why I just think AI would be the way to go. I'm sorry, but it's like people are ruining their own civilization. I know I've talked about this before with AI and how bad it is for society. But then there's a flip side of why it might even be necessary, because you can't have innovation with a bunch of people that want credit for everything and don't want to fucking give an inch or work together to make a common goal. That's the problem with these fucking AI movies. They're going to suck, obviously, but at least you're going to get the content rolled out the way you want it. I mean, imagine a world where, like, you're watching a TV show where the people never get old and you can always watch it, Like, a part of my problem with the Ghostbusters movie was they waited too long to finally make it, and Egon died. I'm going to keep using Ghostbusters because I love the franchise, or Indiana Jones even. Like, you want Harrison Ford to be in these movies, so they used the AI to make him look younger in that last one and try to, make that Indiana Jones magic, because those movies are great. He's the only guy that could probably play that character, but he's old now, and you got to let it go. They waited too long to make more, and, you wait 20 years to make a fucking sequel of something. Of course the people aren't going to look the same, but with AI, they will. So it's like, do you go that route? Do you just keep making new things? It's like, what do you do with this whole entertainment thing? It's probably the toughest question to answer when it comes to AI, besides what are we going to do with people's usefulness and work in the future? Are we going to have jobs? Are we going to be misplaced or displaced by computers? Are we going to be fucked? Like, what's going to happen here? It's a pretty wild scenario when you think about it, honestly. It's one of the things that keeps me up at night a little bit here, besides other things, obviously. But, that's about enough of that. I'm just in favor of it. Like, I'm in favor of cartoon movies too. Before it was AI, it was cartoon for me. I was like, you know what? These DC animated movies are fucking great. I mean, I can do the same voices that I did when I was 10 years old, impersonations and shit. So, I mean, I could have been doing something for 30-something, 90 years now. And I don't look the same, but obviously I sound the same. So maybe they should go the animated route. You can do a lot more with a much smaller budget. You don't have to deal with actors. If someone doesn't want to be in it, you just replace them. The character's still drawn the same. You don't have to worry about, hey, how come this guy's playing this character in a soap opera now? the role of Sonny Corinthos is now being played by so-and-so. And you're like, wait, that's not the same guy, but you have to pretend it is. In comic books and AI, you don't have to. You can have them look the same, change the voices, use computer manipulations, and your content is exactly as you'd always remember it, preserved the way you wanted it, you know? That's just the way I see it. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but there are some points in there I feel like some people can get along with, you know? I mean, how many fucking franchises have died because the actors suck or because there's no interest here or there from someone to continue the franchise? There's too much money involved, contract disputes and shit. That's all done for when you have AI and, you know, animated series or whatever the fuck. I just feel like that's just the better way to go, but who the fuck am I, right? Anyway, what else did I do this weekend? I got really stoned, but I did it controlled. I feel really good today. It's amazing. I don't know. I have realized some of the things that I hate about taking those mushrooms hit me over the weekend, like fatigue, early fatigue. I was starting to feel the racing thoughts come back, so I had them on Friday night, and today is Tuesday as I'm recording the podcast. I ran out on Monday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for another few days. I'm going to fast again this week, and I'm going to not let any of this stuff come back into my body. I'm just going to ride this out a little bit. My brain feels quiet, you know, there's no racing thoughts or anything. I'm chilled and relaxed. I slept like a baby last night. But the one thing that bothers me is when I'm on these, it does fatigue me very early, like around 9 o'clock or so, I start falling asleep, and I can't stay awake, and it's so overwhelmingly bad that I just have to go to bed. And I hate that. I hate not being in control of myself, my body. I don't like my body shutting down, falling asleep. It's just really annoying. I hate that feeling. So I'm going to take a break again because it's just the way to go. The only problem is when I take it back up again, when the racing thoughts start, that's when the fucking nightmares come back. And it's like, holy fuck, that first night of hell is just, oh my goodness, it's not cool, man. I don't know how to fucking, you know, counteract that. I've tried surrounding myself with happy thoughts and shit and putting on fun things. I don't know. It was just a fucking nightmare. But, you know, afterwards, the next day, it's great. Like today, I feel amazing. I feel like a superhuman today. So, I don't know. Other than that, it's just been a pretty chill weekend. I just kind of hung out, watched a few things. My buddy, last night we watched Conduit. It was a little short 15-minute film, and it was weird. Like, we're sitting there hanging out. She's, like, my best friend was having a rough day yesterday. I guess there's a lot of shit going on in the house. And I was like, all right, cool, you know, can't really talk or anything. And, you know, normally our routine is like we'll watch a movie or two and like a documentary, just bullshit, you know, about her day's life and whatever. And it's always a good time. But last night she wasn't really up to it. And I was getting ready for bed or whatever. And she's like, hey, I want to watch this real quick. And it was a 15-minute movie. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I got time for that. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck could he possibly get done in a 15-minute movie? And there's little YouTube clips. I can't remember the name of the production company that makes these things, but it just basically started off with these people already in the scenario where they're kind of doing like an exorcism or trying to reach out to the other side, trying to talk to someone that passed away recently. This guy and his son passed away, and they've got this woman who's a conduit to the deceased, and kind of like the Insidious movies where you had, what the fuck was her name? I can't remember her name. The old lady. Lynn Shay is her real name. I can't remember the actress's name. But if you ever watch Insidious, you know, she's the one with the two guys that got the equipment and they help out Dalton, that stupid fucking name, and the dad and the mom, and clearing the demons from the further. That's her. Well, anyway, the character in this plays that type of person where she can be a conduit to the deceased, and another guy's like the stenographer. He's just writing things down and whatever, as like, you know, the voices from the other side are coming. And you hear the voice coming from a radio, and it's like, daddy, daddy. And the guy's sitting there like, son, son. And the conduit woman just laid back with her eyes rolled back and her mouth open as, you know, the kid is talking to the dead kid's talking to the dad. It just gets really deep where the dad feels blame for the son, and the son's like, daddy, help me, you let me die. And it's really creepy. And for 15 minutes, you're just watching this highly emotional, like fucking roller coaster of a ride. And then like right at the end, it starts getting fucking crazy. And it's 15 minutes, but you feel like you've been watching this thing for like an hour and a half because they do so much with such a short amount of time. And it just goes to show how good storytelling can be if you let it. You know, I've seen movies that are like 3 hours long and you watch it and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? You don't remember anything about it. It just didn't have any impact on you or anything like that. And I'm watching it and it's late at night. For me, I'm getting ready for bed and, you know, I got the lights off, got the fans blowing on me. I got my head under the blanket so the monsters can't get me. And I got my iPad and I'm watching the thing with my AirPods in and I'm watching my buddy, and the room's dark and it's about 3 minutes left in the show, and I get up to pee and it's dark in the room, and I'm watching the iPad, just watching the shit unfold, and it got really freaky, and I'm like walking around looking in this dark room. I'm like, where the fuck is it? And I ran to the bathroom, turned the light on, peed, and that's a fucking interesting movie too. Whoever thought of that one movie? Remember that movie? There was a scary one out there where like the monsters couldn't get through light, and it was really fucking good. Someone tell me the name of that title. I watched it before. It was fucking awesome. I watched it with Nerd a while back. Where like it was fucking good, man. Like everyone knows the fucking way to stay away from a monster in your bedroom is to turn on the light, because it's like a barrier. It's like a vampire with sunlight. They can't get into the sunlight. Just like monsters at night, you turn on the light, they can't cross that threshold. They made a movie about that where like it was like this woman was running in a dark house. She turned on the light in their closet or whatever and hid in their closet, and the monster was staring at her, couldn't get through, and then the light was flickering and shit. It was such a good fucking movie. But that's what I was doing. I was like ran to the bathroom, like peed with the light on, brushed my teeth, and then jumped in the bed from across the room. It was pretty like a Michael Jordan fucking leap from the free throw line to get into the bed. It was pretty incredible. But yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. They did some really scary shit. The voice changes, and it turns out that the little boy wasn't the little boy from the other side. It was a demon playing a trick, because demons play tricks on people in real life. It's fucking interesting. I love that shit, man. I love stuff like that. It was only 50 minutes, but it had a profound reaction to me. It was fucking awesome. So, speaking of other villains out there, did you see this Anthony Fauci diary that was released the other day? Rand Paul released entries ahead of Fauci's Senate testimony that's coming up. And this fucking diary that Fauci wrote, there are some things that really stand out in it. And I haven't talked about this little fucking Weasley worm piece of fucking trash in a while now, because I wondered what happened to him. It's like once COVID ended and they let the restrictions go and people were pissed off and wanted his fucking head on a silver platter, this guy disappeared and he hasn't been seen for a while or heard from until this. And his diary is like 1,100 pages or some shit like that. And it's all self-aggrandizing bullshit where he's just basically like, yeah, I'm so great. You mess with me, you mess with the science, Donald Trump's an asshole. He was saying how he was outshining the president, how he was getting all these gifts from celebrities like Julia Roberts and all this attention on TV, late night shows. Everyone loves him. And, this newfound celebrity, he was talking about the Anthony Fauci toys and St. Fauci shit he was getting. The baseball game he went to without a mask when everyone else was locked in their houses. He was able to throw a first pitch because he's some fucking hero, And he was getting off on the fame and the attention. You could tell. It's very clearly evident that Fauci loved all the attention he was getting, and he got off on it. Seriously, he was really deep into this shit. So it's going to be interesting to see how these Senate hearings play out. I mean, will anything happen to him? No, the guy's over 80 years old. At this point, I mean, what are you going to do to him? Seriously, the guy's old as fuck. He's got all the money in the world. He's got all this fame and adulation. Half the country loves him. The other half hates him. It's just ridiculous now. It seems like no matter what this guy does, he's always been Teflon. He had the HIV scam in the 80s, and the biggest scam in history, the COVID scam. It's just like this guy's been involved in some of the most ridiculous things known to mankind. I mean, you look at HIV, the AIDS epidemic, that's something that we still kind of deal with a little bit today, even though the threat of AIDS isn't really as prevalent as it used to be, unless you're a homo or really promiscuous. I mean, seriously, that's pretty much the only people at risk of this shit now. We know how to deal with it. It's like, we don't need you anymore, Fauci, shut the fuck up. So they created another thing, and that was even worse. COVID-19, because we never got locked down because of AIDS. I feel like they're going to eventually. I mean, the airborne HIV thing that they brought up, I'm sure that's going to come back around eventually when they have another election cycle. I'm sure, November's only a couple of months away. Are we going to get it for the midterms? I don't know if we're going to get it for the midterms, but we are going to get it in another couple of years before the election. So get your shit and your affairs in order, people, before that happens. It's going to get ugly. I'm very worried about it, man. I'm not worried because these people are evil. Obviously, that's the reason why I'm worried about it. But I'm worried because people are stupid and gullible. People love to be in danger. People love that drama. They love having that kind of excitement, I guess, if you want to call it that, in their life. They get off on that shit, man. Oh, we're in danger. Yay. Ooh, let's call everybody. Let's go make social media groups and fight online about this, because that's what we do now. We don't try to figure things out together and work this through as a society. We like to fight each other and just put our fucking faith in quote-unquote heroes that don't give a shit about us, But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, I do want to talk about some interesting things here. So there's this cult in LA. It's a religion. And it's absolutely insane here. I watched a video on this morning. There's a sort of pretty woman who's in charge of it. Of course, you can get a pretty woman that can make you do some crazy shit, but this one is even crazier than I thought. So a Los Angeles-based pastor whose dramatic prayer services regularly go viral is once again at the center of controversy. After videos from a recent Texas book signing showed followers collapsing, shaking, and convulsing as Catherine Crick prayed over them, there's been renewed accusations from some Christian leaders that their ministry resembles a cult. Crick leads Fivefold Church, also known as 5F Church in L.A. The self-described apostle has amassed a massive following online with more than 500,000 Instagram followers and a growing presence on TikTok, where supporters celebrate what they describe as miraculous healings and a spiritual deliverance. But the 35-year-old's explosive popularity has been matched by equally intense criticism. The latest debate erupted after Crick visited Houston to promote her new book, Ignite Revival. Video shared from the event shows attendees falling to the floor, trembling and appearing to convulse as Crick prayed for them and signed books. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I do believe in God. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe in all that stuff. But do I believe in these convulsions and people having these fucking spiritual things and speaking in tongues? No, I do not. I don't. It is fucking ridiculous. And what this is this is mass hysteria by suggestive thought implanted in people's brains from someone that they want to believe in. The thing about religion is people will desperately want to believe in something, but do they really believe in it? You know, I feel like when you die and you have final judgment, God is going to look at you, and even a piece of shit like me, who's done horrible things in the past before. I've said horrible things. You know, I say it all the time. I've said a couple things in this episode right here that probably people are going to disagree with and say, hey, you sound like an asshole. You sound like a demon or whatever the fuck, you know, because I curse. I fucking call people faggots. I say homos and shit. You know, it's just how I talk. You know, it's just how I am. It's just how I feel. You know, I feel like some things need to be said a certain way. Otherwise, it's never going to fucking get through to people. You know, it's just how I feel. I don't give a fuck. But I think at the end of the day, you know, when I get the final judgment and, you know, I'm at those pearly gates, I'm going to be horrified for my life because I know there's shit in my life that I regret. Losing my best friend, I fucking regret. The way it went down, fucking, you know, all the bad shit, the aftermath, it's just fucking terrible. But I think what's going to happen to me is, you know, I think God's going to look at me and say, listen, you're a very flawed human being. You've got a lot of shit wrong with it. You tried your best. You tried to fight things. You just, you know, some things you could overcome, some things you couldn't. But at the end of the day, I can tell what's in your heart, and I know you're a good person that believes in me and loves me and wishes you could be better and just tried your best. And, you know, hopefully God says, come on in. If not, I would just say thanks. I would like to shake your hand. And if you give me 5 minutes of your time, there's a couple of questions I want to ask before you send me down to this fucking fire pit below. That's all. Be respectful about it. You know, just be like, hey, listen, I fucking get it. I get it. You know, but, you know, there's other people out there that are just, you know, fucking evil human beings. They're the flip. They're the opposite. They've got nothing but evil in their hearts, but they put out this face because they're afraid of what's going to happen. They know they're going somewhere special. They just don't care to change it. They know they're going to hell. And I think these other people, you know, they're bastards on fucking Monday through Saturday. They're saints on Sunday, but then after they leave church, they're fucking assholes again. I think God's going to get there and be like, yeah, you like T.D. Jakes, fucking, who the fuck was the other one? That fucking white guy, I can't remember his name. He's in Texas. Joel Osteen, there you go. And those fucking scumbags that drive these fucking $1 million cars, fly in these multi-million dollar helicopters and planes to get to their $100 million fucking places to worship. And it's like, you know what's in their hearts. Greed, lies, deceit. Those are the ones that are like, oh yeah, this holy guy. What's the difference between Joel Osteen and me besides $100 million, you know? One person feels it and the other person says it. You know what I mean? And that's exactly the way I feel about these people. We're all going to be judged, and I think some people are going to go places they didn't expect to go at the end of the day. And I think these people here are just performative. They're playing a part. They're trying to make themselves believe this woman is extremely evil, because I feel like you're making people do these things by not dissuading them from exactly what's happening either. You're not saying, hey, get the fuck off the floor, man. Don't convulse. This is clearly performative. Get up. You know, God doesn't need this performative art. Just feel it in your heart. You don't have to act stupid. I know some people can feel like they're having these events because they're triggered by some sort of trauma or whatever they feel in their hearts. Maybe fear of the unknown. Maybe it's just overwhelming. I mean, sometimes you could feel overwhelmed and you just want to let your power out in some way, you know? I've had moments where I get so overwhelmed in the bipolar gets a hold of me, and there's been a few, not many, where I will just get in the car and I will drive a little bit and I will fucking yell at the top of my fucking lungs, just driving on the highway, just fucking screaming, just let it out. And then I feel better. And then sometimes you just got to let it out. And I understand the convulsing and shit. I mean, that could be a way of people letting it out, but it's also extremely performative because you see one person do it, now I got to do it. And it just creates this mass hysteria, this hypnosis. Kind of like if everyone's in the room watching a movie or whatever, if one person is starting to act a little weird, you might start acting a little weird or fidgety, and it's infectious, that kind of an attitude. So I don't believe any of this is real. I just think it's all performative, but it continues from the footage of people just falling and trembling to the floor, and she's praying for him and signing books. Crick wrote in her footage posting online how God moved in that bookstore among the people amazed us. Supporters claimed people experience healing from illnesses, emotional trauma, and spiritual oppression during the event. Someone said it was the best day of their life. They will never forget how powerfully they were touched by being anointed at this book signing. I couldn't stay on my feet as I stepped forward to have my book signed. So many people were beautifully touched. One skeptic said, "Whoa, a lot happening here. I'm just wondering, as a Christian who has received and seen a lot of healing, why with this person do people tremble and shake and seize? What's so different about this specific healing versus others?" And I'll tell you what it is. I feel like these people are probably paid. And these videos are fucking crazy. You got to look at this online. This Crick lady. The thing about her is she's not turning it away either. A lot of people in this position, if you're a pastor and you gain some sort of a following, you shouldn't be accepting the praise all unto yourself. You should be deflecting it towards the Lord. He should say, hey, listen, instead of saying, me, I'm the reason why you're having this healing. Me, like this person is saying, this Crick lady was posting a line out. She felt that she reached out, touched these people, and made their lives better when it wasn't her. She should have called herself the conduit of God's word through her to these people. But the way she's billing it is, it's me. And even the way I just described it is a fucking self-aggrandizing, prop yourself up fucking thing. It's like, dude, I mean, I don't know. I really, this is why I keep religion to myself as far as like, my worship and my prayer, the way that I feel about God. Because you see shit like this and it's so hard to believe. How do you sell a person on religion when you see shit like this online, People convulsing, fucking electrocuting on the floor as they have another human being that puts their pants on the same way and eats and shits and drinks water and has the same needs your body needs. And they're nothing better than you, but yet you're just fucking giving them this fucking divine power. It's so strange, and it is a cult, like how do cults form? It's just one good message, I guess, that touches people, and it's like lightning in a bottle, I guess. It's like, how does a podcast get popular? How does a TV show get popular? You make it, you put it out there, you advertise it, and people either watch it or they don't follow your bullshit. And it seems like this lady's getting a lot of people following her bullshit. She's very attractive. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not going to sit there and act crazy for some attractive woman telling me the word of God and have electrocuting moments on the floor where you're acting like a fucking retard. But I can see why people would fall for it. Some people are desperate and looking for answers, and they think they've got them, and they see someone that they can look for answers, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just insane behavior. The talking in tongues thing, too, that really fucking gets me. It gets me so fucking tickled. And everyone's like acting like they understand what the fuck they're saying. It's like, what the fuck with this shit? It's so hard to follow religion. It's so hard to fucking get anyone to follow and believe in this shit when this is what you see. Oh, yeah, here's an example of why you should follow religion. Watch this video of this Crick bitch and your fucking weird-ass followers. I feel like they were paid, too. They could be paid operatives. I mean, a book signing, that's great publicity. At the book signing of a person signing religious books, you have a bunch of paid people electrocuting on the floor and acting like they're feeling the power, because then other people are going to see it. The non-paid actors are going to see it and emulate that behavior because they think it's real. And it just does something to your brain. Suggestive thought. I guess that's got to be it, man. Some kind of influence. Here's another one for you. Violent men are ganging together to promote attacks on the women who reject them. So these incels are simulating stabbings and pointing firearms at the camera phones, which they call training in case the woman says no. The she in question, women who reject their romantic advances. While the videos online are being framed as dating satire, advocates against domestic violence fear the trend could help normalize violence against women, as evidenced by shocking real-life events. 20-year-old Alana Brazil rejected a man at her gym, Luis Felipe Sampaio, who had reportedly been bombarding her with gifts. After she repeatedly refuses advances, the accused allegedly broke into her home in Sao Gonçalo near Rio de Janeiro and stabbed her nearly 50 times before being stopped by her mother. She was then rushed to the hospital and underwent several reconstructive surgeries while in an induced coma to recover from her injuries. Somehow she survived the attack. This bitch was stabbed 50 fucking times and survived. 50 times. How long was that stabbing going on? Because you got to figure, you get stabbed, you pull the knife out, pull the knife out. It's not some instant, like you're slicing a hot knife through butter. You're hitting organs. It's going to be tougher to pull shit out. And 50 times, that must have gone on for a very long time, that stabbing. I don't know how the fuck she survived, but through the grace of God, man, that is insane. Her mother, Jarluce de Oliveira, told local officials that the attacker followed similar content online, a detail that alarmed investigators and the public alike. And here's that suggestive thought. People see videos of men attacking women online because they are getting rejected, and you got a bunch of incels out there that are sick and tired of being denied. And this is a problem with men in general, and I'm just going to shit on men for a little bit because I do hate men. I'm not going to lie, I fucking do. By and large, I do. There's only a few that I can get along with, but even then, I don't get too close. It's just the past couple of years I've really soured my opinion on man and what it means to be a man and manhood and all this other shit. It really fucking and you can ask any of my friends, past and present. I'm sure they would tell you the same thing. Like, he really fucking hates dudes. Really fucking do. I don't know. It's just this whole ideology behind it. Like, what does it mean to be a guy, you know? Like, what is it? Do you have to drink beer and fucking talk about sports all day long and chase skirts? Or is it like, hey, just be yourself and stop this bullshit, you know, this stupid fucking crap that people do? I don't know. I just like individuals that be themselves and don't follow a status fucking quo or anything. I just like that. But you get these fucking men online, and I really use that term loosely, you know. You get rejected by a girl. Back in the day, we used to say, all right, well, fuck you, bitch, and move on to someone else. You don't fucking attack them because of that, you know. You just fucking move on and find someone that will like you. It's ridiculous. And these guys are just fucking insults. But then again, you got to blame that woman, too, a little bit. I mean, you never want to blame the victim, but I will say one thing, because I do like to look at every angle of every conversation. I'm not closed-minded to anything. But the woman in question here was receiving multiple gifts from this guy. So she was okay when he was sending gifts, but he wasn't good enough to fuck, obviously, or give any attention to. Immediately when that first gift came, you accept it graciously, but then return it and say, no thanks, I'm not interested, I have somebody. I think part of what drove this man crazy is because she led him along so long. He was buying gifts, and there's still no excuse for him attacking her. There absolutely is no excuse. But, I mean, she didn't return any advances. He knew where she lived because maybe this guy's insane and tracked her down, or maybe she told him. Either way, she let him get too close without actually setting those boundaries immediately. And I think that could have been possibly what contributed here. Or the guy could have been fucking crazy. Obviously, he's crazy because he went after the bitch and attacked her. And he's watching these videos online, which also makes you crazy. I mean, if you watch videos online and your attitude is completely changed by words someone said or actions and things that you clearly know is wrong, then you have no fucking like right or wrong in your head. Like, you don't know how to differentiate what's right or wrong. You don't have any impulse control. And when someone says, no, this is how you lash out, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. I mean, someone says no to you, like, were you never told no in your life? I mean, just by saying hi to a woman, is that a rite of passage? You know, there's a big problem with that too. Like, people feel like because they reach out to you or because, you had one pleasant exchange or any exchange in general, it doesn't mean that you're tied to this person. I've always felt like people are free to go and come and whatever as much as they want, as long as the vibe is right and whatever the situation, relationship is beneficial to both parties, you know. I don't talk to my family for certain reasons. Nerdette doesn't talk to her family for other reasons. You know, I feel like just because someone has a title or you were born into a situation or whatever, you're not tied or tethered to that person forever, you know. This guy reached out to this girl and he probably thought she was his because he exchanged those gifts and they might have had some sort of cordial conversation or whatever, and he felt that she was his. And when he realized she wasn't, he flipped out and didn't know how to deal with it, because that rite of passage thing, people don't understand that there's work that has to be put in. There's social clues you have to look for, and you have to have impulse control. Like, okay, this person doesn't want me, let me move on, or let me look somewhere else, or whatever, or just accept what I can have with this person and build on it towards the future, so maybe we can have something. If this woman means that much to you, then maybe try to be your friend, try to be that person she can rely on, and maybe one day she'll come to you. But don't ever fucking put all your stock in that one person, especially if it's not going where you want to go. I mean, you bought her a couple of gifts, you're not getting where you want to go, then move the fuck on, dude. Grow up. It's fucking crazy, you know? I mean, I do understand there are situations where you can't give up if you want to make things right. In my case, you want to get closure, fix things or whatever, because there's something inside of people that either you want to make things right or you want to make them terribly wrong. And this guy just didn't know what the fuck he was doing, man. I just, it makes me sad that women have to deal with yet another thing. It's hard enough being a woman as it is. They got a lot of crazy shit going on with their bodies. You fucking puberty, you got constant social pressures to look a certain way, and women do have a lot of responsibilities, which sucks. Men, as far as we're concerned, it's like, hey, you're just supposed to be tough and protect the women, work, and just do your job. Just do your job. That's it. But women are supposed to be the nurturers, the backbone, supposed to baby us when we need help, and women are never allowed a day off when they're sick. Especially moms. It's like you're supposed to always be on. Dads can lay in bed sick all day. I've done it. Her dad's been fucking sick and taking care of shit. After she got pregnant, she was up like the very next fucking day after giving birth to the kid, doing the mom thing, and that's not a luxury that women are afforded, to just sit there and take days off. They're always supposed to be on. They're always supposed to be pretty, always supposed to smile, laugh at jokes, and it just sucks that women can't just be more like, fuck you, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not putting up with your shit, and without fear of getting fucking attacked by some piece of shit that just thinks you owe him something. This was a fucking nightmare that never should have happened. 50 fucking times she was stabbed, and these videos are all over the fucking place. And in Brazil, more than 1,400 women in the country died at the hands of a man in 2025 alone. So women are just getting murdered there for saying no, and it's not fair. They should have a fucking right. I hate everything that's been happening to women, and I think what really did it to me was the transgender movement and just religion in general. A lot of religions don't have any respect for women. They're supposed to cover their bodies, and men are allowed to go out there and have multiple wives, and women are just supposed to sit there and be subservient. It's like I don't think a God would create an entire species to be subservient to the other one. I just don't think that. Men and women aren't supposed to be subservient to each other. We're supposed to work together. It's like a lock and a key. The key goes into the lock, it turns it, they work together, they open, but only one key opens that lock. I feel like you find that one right person for you, you can have a great future together and everything works together the way it's supposed to. But there's so many mismatches out there, and people are too afraid to say no because shit like this can happen, or they're too afraid to find happiness, or too afraid to figure out what they want, search for it, and be that healthy kind of selfish to find what you need. I don't know. I hope I'm making sense to you motherfuckers today, man. I'm recording this one early and I've got nothing in my system. My brain is completely functional today. No racing thoughts. I'm able to focus what I'm saying. This is what the benefits of the mushrooms do. Seriously. But, yeah, I don't know, man. This is a fucked up story here. It really is. I mean, how are these videos allowed to be made? How come you can have such hate videos perpetuating violence upon women? It's so fucking disgusting. It really is. And like I said, I don't care if I come off sounding like a fucking feminist, because I kind of am. I really do. I really do honor women. Been around them my whole fucking life. Sisters, my daughters, my spouse, friends that I make. It's just the way that I am. I've always had that soft spot, that protector gene, that dom gene, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That just wants to daddy dom, protecting the people that are in my life. But yeah, I don't know. I just, it pisses me off. Like I've learned a lot over the past year or two, like about myself and everything. And I don't know, the more I see stuff like this, it just fucking disgusts me. It really does, man. It really does. There's a lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of thinking I've done over the past couple of months just to be a better person, like how to be a better human being and be what I want to be, and be the things that I speak up against. That's what I'm focusing on right now. Because stuff like this, just the only way you can combat stuff like this is with awareness, obviously. You got to shut shit like that down. You cannot have video, and I know the free speech is a thing, but this isn't free speech. Free speech needs a line, just like everything needs a line. Just like you want to celebrate pride, you want to celebrate kinks and all this shit, but they say, okay, you can have all these kinks. You have threesomes, you can have all these other weird kinks out there, that people are into. But then you get into things like adults wearing baby diapers and putting dog outfits on in public with chains and shit. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's where the line's drawn. I feel like free speech isn't absolute anymore. I feel like there should be a line with free speech. You shouldn't be able to use your free speech to fucking go out there and perpetuate hate against other people. Like, hey, let's beat the shit out of women that say no. That should not be allowed online because you are inciting violence against a group of people. Similarly, like, you can't sit there and you can't make threats online against, like, murdering people and shit like that because you'll rightfully get arrested. What's the difference here about saying, hey, if a woman says no, you beat the crap out of her? If a woman says no, you respect it and move on. That's the way it should fucking be, man. Just move the fuck on with it. It really fucking infuriates me. How about this one? Another one that infuriates me. There's a crook with smart glasses. He extorts his victims after filming them without their consent, and there's nothing they can do about it. Here's one about this British woman. She's sounding the alarm in the dangers of wearable cameras after she was allegedly filmed without her consent by a man in a smart glass, who later refused to hand over the footage without payment. The woman, using the alias Alice, told the BBC she felt humiliated by the video. When she contacted the man to request that he had taken down the post, he explained he would only do so as a paid service. The man initially approached Alice. She was walking into a London shopping center. I just thought, okay, this guy's just trying to talk to me to chat me up. She recalled noting that she hoped the man would leave her alone, but he continued to follow her, asking for her Instagram information. Now that's cheap, okay? This woman obviously said no to this guy. She was being polite, which is the worst thing you could possibly do. If you're not interested, you can't even be polite to these fucking dudes. Seriously, just fucking ignore them and move the fuck on. Because the second you showed politeness, this guy's going to think you're interested, and he's going to try his best. And if you say no to him, he's going to get nasty and turn on you, just like this motherfucker did. He's following her, asking for her Instagram information. She fucking clearly said no. Go the fuck on, dude. She maintained she had no idea she was being filmed and did not consent to being recorded. He had no phone. He did not have a camera directly in my face, she said. Later, a friend sent her the video of her that the man had posted on social media. My initial reaction was complete shock, she said. The video was viewed roughly 40,000 times. He's an aspiring influencer who uses smart glasses to turn real-life encounters into content. It follows a similar script, a compliment, a pickup line, a push for a name or number, with the footage later blasted across social media for views, often without the subject ever realizing she was on camera. She contacted the account responsible for the post, requesting that it be removed. The man responded via email, claiming he's not required to take it down, and said, I understand that sometimes people may still prefer for certain content to be removed. In such cases, I casually offer removal as a paid service. If you'd like to move forward with this, let me know and we can discuss the terms. She felt like it was extortion. So she never considered paying for the service and reported the incident to police, but they were unable to progress the investigation because you can, and now this is where it gets crazy here. Now these are called pervert glasses, is what people online are calling them, because people will go and they will try to catch you doing something embarrassing, because people are more inclined to let down their inhibitions and be themselves if they feel like they're not being recorded. That's why if you have a camera in a random location where people are known to act crazy, they're going to see the camera and it's going to stop their behavior and going to make them act a little bit better because they see that camera. It keeps people honest. So if you have your cell phone out and you're recording, police officers, they act extremely polite when they see a bunch of people recording. They're like, oh yeah, and that's when they're overly fucking polite. They're giving way too many chances to people because they know they're being recorded. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but it does change the behavior. If that camera wasn't there, what would have happened? Get the fuck on the ground, grab me, throw on the ground, but now you have that eye in the sky keeping you honest. So, when this guy's using this fucking new technology, the sunglasses, how many people think they're being recorded by a pair of sunglasses? A lot of people don't even know smart glasses exist or have a pair. So you're talking to someone who's got their hands in their pockets. You're like, okay, they're not recording me, but you have no idea you are. You're going to act natural. And she probably, did something embarrassing. They don't necessarily say what happened on this, because just being asked for your phone number and walking away, you don't think that would be embarrassing enough to want it clipped. You would think the person recording who got shut down would be the one who doesn't want it up because they're embarrassed. So something might have happened here in the video that they didn't clarify on the article here. But my whole thing with this is like, dude, someone says no, you leave them the fuck alone. And, you just don't do that shit. Anything with revenge and content is just disgusting and dirty to do. But with this, the legal side is like any recordings or any private content sent to someone else, I guess there's no repercussion for the quote unquote victim here, So she's getting fucking told she's got to pay for this shit, and content's still up there as of this recording. So I don't know. It's just so fucking awful to think about that every second of your life can possibly be recorded and put online for content, and there's nothing you could do about it. There's no repercussions. There's so much shit out there. It's like the internet's going to be full of lies, even more so than now, and eventually you're not going to know what the hell's true or not. And I wonder what's going to happen to the internet. Are people going to stop going on it? Or are they going to keep believing everything they see on there? And I think you're going to see more people believing everything they see on there. It's fucking wild, man. Can you imagine that, having content of someone and threatening to post it online for money? That's just dirty, man. I guess that's when it gets illegal. Like if this guy's asked for money, then it's like extortion, and that's exactly what this is here. I hope this guy goes to prison for a long time, because you shouldn't do it asking for money. I mean, if you want to do something stupid, and fucking do something stupid, but then it's like, all right, now you're doing this for a reason. You're doing this for money. He's probably done this to multiple fucking people and just asked for money, and this is probably a business to him, embarrassing people in public and trying to get paid for it. It's fucking dirty, man. It's just fucking dirty. All right, so here's another one here. She's a stain on society. Sophie Cunningham's anti-trans comments lead to disgusting rally and spark outrage. Ooh. It's not often that the discourse surrounding a league is dominated by a reserve player. However, that was exactly the case heading into the 2026 WNBA All-Star Weekend. Did you know there was a WNBA All-Star Weekend? Of course not. But there are some great highlights online of air balls and fucking horrible double dribbles and people just making mistakes. And these are professional women, the best of the best, the All-Star game. But one player who's been making the waves lately is Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, who averaged just 9.3 points off the bench this season. She had a feature published by Espn where she spoke about what she felt was necessary to protect women's sports. Now, this woman looks like Cruella de Vil, man. She's a young, mean-looking bitch. People call her attractive. I don't see it. But I do like her attitude. I mean, that's what makes her attractive. So I got a lot of negative feedback about me hating trans, and I'm like, I never once said that, she said. I think that I am here to extend love, but I also think that love is truth, being honest. And I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in a sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men. She then insisted that she has a centrist policy on it all. So basically what her idea is you can be one thing, but leave women's sports alone. That was her comment. And she was questioned about this by various media outlets. And her response was, I said what I said and I stand by it. Next. And I love that. She is a very young basketball player, but I feel like everyone can see her as a hero of sorts, because all it takes is for someone to say, fuck you, I'm standing by what I said. And that's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. Like my bar is really low for people right now. And it's funny because it's women that are having to do this. A lot of fucking crazy shit is going on right now in right-wing media. You've got Candace Owens fighting against Dana Lash. You've got fucking Ben Shapiro involved, the Daily Wire guys, Megyn Kelly's involved. It's like civil war right now. Tim fucking douchebag Poole, that fucking faggot. They're all out there and they're all fighting each other. Tucker Carlson, like, remember these guys who were supposed to be like the heroes during the COVID era? They were all together, and right wing, MAGA, America First, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all these other fucking scumbags out there. They're now turning against each other and eating each other apart. This is one of the weirdest times, I think, to ever be alive. And it's like these people that don't stand by what they say. It's nice when you see someone who does. And it doesn't take much. Like I said, my bar's very low. She said, I stand by what I said. Next. I fucking love that. People that double down. You have truth on your side, Sophie. Great job for sticking by it, Because it's true. Like I was saying earlier, women shouldn't have to give up anything. I'm so sick and tired of women always having to sacrifice. Men don't sacrifice a fucking thing. We really don't. We have our cake and eat it too all the time. It's always been that way. It's just not fair, man. You've got two genders, and like I said, two fucking genders. You have man and woman. They can't interchange. You can never have more. You can't have different. I don't give a fuck. That's the truth. So why does one get all the benefits and advantages of being a human being while the other has to give up their happiness for someone else's? It's always that way. The transgender movement, the sports, it only goes in one direction. It's always men destroying women in women's sports because they can't. Like men dominate everything. Now they got to dominate the women's shit too. It's like, no, get the fuck out of here, you disgusting fucking faggot motherfucking losing bitch. I hate them, and I don't want to hate them. I really want to feel compassion for anyone who thinks they were born in the wrong body. It's just hard to when the government empowers them and tells them that we're the crazy ones and they're the right ones that are healthy. We're insane. Come after us because we're the bad guys. No, the side of truth will always win in the end. It's just a matter of how the fuck are we going to get there? How long is it going to take for truth to finally prevail? We got people that don't care about the truth. They care about power and influence. And there's way too much of both going around. It's a very small percentage of people that control the majority of us all for some reason. It is fucking scary. I have never seen such dismay in the world where lies run rampant. I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say more, but I will come back every Wednesday and try to figure this shit out with you guys. But thanks, Sophie Cunningham, for saying exactly what needed to be said about the anti-trans. It's not anti-trans, it's pro-women. Can we stop calling it anti-trans and call it what it really is, truth and pro-women? I have no problem with transgenders playing sports for the sport league or whatever gender that they identified as birth. Not even identified as. I don't give a fuck what you identify as. It's what you are. I don't give a fuck anymore about what people, identify as this. No, okay, fine, but this is what you really are. I don't care what you identify as. You're lying to yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice living in a fucking mountain of lies your entire life. If people accepted the truth and what they really were and just rolled with it and made the best of it, their lives would be substantially better. But no, they just prefer to live in these lies and delusions because they're being incentivized to do so for some odd reason. Oh my God, I can't stand it. But anyway, there's another thing going on here. I was going to do a deep dive segment today, but you know what? I feel like this whole episode has been a deep dive, honestly. And because we didn't get a chance to talk about it last night, my pal was busy, and we do last minute conversations about the deep dive segments. They're always like, I need one for today. What are we going to talk about? But today's been a whole thing, so I'm going to put that on hold this week. I'll bring it back next week. I do have one more topic here I wanted to talk about, and this one's about former ESPN host Ryan Clark. He was fired mid-conversation, essentially. He was doing his gig, ESPN Live, or whatever the fuck it was called. And he was a host on there, one of my least favorite hosts. And the problem with a lot of black media and black journalists is they are pro-black to the point where you are, against everything else. And it comes off as like, really arrogant and condescending and just disgusting and delusional. And that's what happened to sports media. There's a whole bunch of media online where like you get a person of a certain persuasion, they will only favor that persuasion. They will always play the victim and shit like that. And ESPN has been a fucking mess for the past, I don't know how many years, when they try to get political and turn into social justice warriors. And it's so fucking disgusting. Now I understand you're always going to have a personal bias for your own people and whatnot, but it's like ESPN incentivizes these motherfuckers to go out there and just talk about these issues, and they pander to blacks. They really fucking do. You look at Stephen A. Smith, the highest paid guy on the fucking platform. All he does is race bait. Ryan Clark's another one, race baiter. Jamel Hill's a race baiter. They're all fucking race baiters. They hired some fucking retarded black chick who didn't even know who the fuck Barry Sanders was, one of the greatest running backs of all fucking time. Had no idea what his jersey number was, and she's supposed to be covering sports. How the fuck can you have this? Oh, because it's a DEI hire, because you have to put these people in positions where they don't fucking have the merit. They could have gotten a fucking black chick who knows the fuck about sports, but they got this one for reasons, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And then you get these idiots out there and you give them a microphone, and you got the white commentators are only allowed to worship the blacks. The blacks are able to say whatever the fuck they want with impunity. It's just whatever. You do whatever the fuck you want. And then people start to get aggravated. You start to notice these things. You're watching ESPN and you're like, wait, how come everything's a social issue? Why does the NFL have to have these Black Lives Matter fucking things in the fucking end zone? Black Lives Matter. Look, watch a fucking game. That's your reparations. Everyone's making millions of dollars. How many black millionaires are on the fucking court playing basketball? Why the fuck do we act like sports players are so fucking marginalized when they're extremely privileged and wealthy? We give LeBron James more fucking say in politics and the world view. We give him more respect than we give our own fucking president. Why? Because he's black and the president's white. That's the fucking reason why we have this fucking divided world and we have so much black fucking fatigue. We've got scumbags like Ryan Clark getting fucking fired finally because the ratings are so low on ESPN that people are sick and tired of this shit. The black pandering. I mean, I get it. We all fucking love black people. Where the fuck did this illusion come from that we hated them? Where the fuck did this come from? It's the over fucking exaggeration that there is a hatred out there and there is racism and that they are oppressed and the fucking reparations, and you look at the constant fucking crime on the news and of course people are going to get fucking fatigued. You're driving this country to turn into a racist country because of the shit that they're doing. So ESPN has been nothing but fucking propaganda 24/7 for the past couple of years, and this guy got laid off and he got fired on air. And of course, Jamel Hill, Ryan Clark, and Cam Newton, three of the biggest race baiters, all had to come up, and they were starting to team up to launch their own black-owned sports network. So, of course, Hill found the concept intriguing, but she was quick to point out why it's not feasible. So here, let's blame white people. I'm sure I haven't read this article, but I'm sure she's going to blame white people. If I'm not, I will apologize. So she goes, I love the idea, but now let's talk about the execution, because that's the part that people don't think about when they talk about the execution. At this point, at least in my career, I can't speak for anybody else. At this point in my career, I got real big bills. And when you start up, any new startup, you need to be funded, number one. So we're talking about advertising. We're talking about studio. We're talking about a lot of moving parts. She also pointed out how the traditional television model has changed. Previously, outlets like ESPN used to develop in-house shows, but not anymore. They seem to be focusing on existing content, like Pat McAfee's show. He already had his show that was plugged and played in because Pat McAfee had his own infrastructure already. So it's like they're just buying shows and saying, hey, just put your show on our network, our platform, kind of like what happened with us, the podcast. So the reason why we're probably getting out of the business and creating shows is because we're expensive. I think a lot of that you say, well, just start your own sports show, get a bunch of people or whatever. I was like, yeah, that sounds great in theory until you start crunching the numbers. And especially at this time in sports, these networks that have rights, they show their programming. It comes off of that. Sports networks are powered by live rights. I don't remember how much money that Fox spent for the World Cup, but it was massive. In order for your network to work, you have to have access to live rights. She also pushed back against the fans who claim they no longer want to watch ESPN. But Hill knew that people were tuning in for the live sports events. After all, that has become the culture. It's worth noting that podcasts thrive well because they feature a lower overhead cost. Ultimately, the dream of a fully independent black-owned sports network requires billions of dollars in backing, not just prominent on-air talent. Jamel Hill also states that she doesn't see a lot of people investing money into a black-owned sports network for quote-unquote obvious reasons. There you go. Playing the race card. She doesn't think anyone would invest in black sports networks because no one likes them. But yet she's got millions of dollars in the bank and was on TV for many years. And the only reason why she got fired was because she incited nothing but fucking hate and division every time she got on the air. But she got paid very handsomely for it and is mad because to follow her dream, she might have to invest some of her own money. She wants someone to pay her to be hateful. Just a hateful bitch, that's all. Be a hateful bitch on your own dime, like the Voices of Misery. But I'm not hateful, man. I'm telling you, I say a lot of shit, and these people are going to listen to this, and I get called fucking racist, transphobic, and whatever. I don't give a fuck. Fine, I am. I'm everything that you say I am. Do I give a fuck what you think about me? No, because all it is you're not listening to the words I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, I just want people to get along, get together, be friendly with each other, and just agree to disagree, and just fucking be productive, man. We work better when we're together. Stop looking at things tribalistically. Color your skin, where you're from, what language you speak, male or female. Just work together, man. That's all we need. Treat everyone with fucking respect. Women are the same as men, except for we're completely different as far as our biology goes. But I mean, they've got a brain, they've got a heart, they've got lungs, they breathe air, they eat food, they shit and piss. Just like we do. They may do it a different way, but we're all pretty much, similar. We all come from God, so let's act like it, Let's use the one commonality that we all have together. We all come from God and we all exist on earth at the same time. Those are the only two things that we need to know that we have in common, that we should be able to get along. Hey, we share this living space. Let's fucking make it better and let's not harm each other. There's no reason for people to rob and hurt or maim each other or treat each other like shit or rape each other or fucking beat up a woman because she says no. There's no reason for any of that shit. Can we just fucking get the fuck along? That's all I want in life. Holy fucking shit, man. That's all I want. It may sound kind of rude sometimes. I may be guilty of some of the things I even say, like I said, I'm not perfect, man. I'm a terrible fucking person sometimes, I've got the same impulses everyone else does. I get upset, I get angry, I get mad, I want revenge. There's a lot of things in my life that I got to work on, and I'm working on it every day. I'm not perfect, man. None of you are perfect. No one is. But we can be better. You don't have to be perfect. We could just be better. Let's work on that. Let's work on getting better every fucking day, man. My X page, I just want to address something real quick. I took down a lot of posts, I was being a son of a bitch, and I'm trying to be better, man. I dealt really, really hard with the loss of my friend, and it's gotten better, obviously, but I'm always going to miss that motherfucker, no matter what. I took down a lot of posts. I was just being a fucking mean bastard, just being an asshole, I just don't want to be that anymore. At the end of the day, I just really miss that motherfucker more than anything. And, it's just me trying to be better, It's a fucking process. It's a fucking process. Everyone's got that weak spot in life, that one thing in life they wish they can get right, that do back, give me a fucking do back on that one. And I want nothing more than if I had three wishes, they would all be the same thing. Go back in time, fix the wrongs, and have my friend back. But, the only thing you could do is accept the past happened. Try to work towards a better future, And I have to make it right. I have to. I'm just my obsession, making that right. I have to, one way or another. I have to make it right, and I will, because I am driven. I'm definitely going to stumble, definitely going to fuck things up. I'm going to get there, There's just some things in life, like you just, like I've always been able to just not give a fuck and give up on things when they get tough or when they piss me off or whatever. But I can't give up on my old friend. They're worth it to me. To be better, to try, to keep trying, no matter what, right or wrong way to make things happen, to get them back, I have to. I have to make it right. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm just opening up because I want you guys to know that I'm not perfect. I am fucking trying. I know I'm very judgmental sometimes in these shows. I read a lot of topics and I just throw my opinion out there. But I'm not doing it from a place where I know better than anybody else. I'm doing it because I'm trying to figure it out with you guys, man. This podcast is not scripted. I turn the mic on and I say what's on my fucking mind. I just try. And I want you guys to try too, man. So just think about it. What do you have wrong in your life? What do you want to fix? What do you want to try to get better? And, work on it. That's all. Just become a better person. What am I going to be doing for the next couple of days? I am going to, I'm going to be hanging out, watching some stuff with my bestie, Snickerdoodle. That's about it. Working on the show. I got an interview coming up here soon with Jay Paterno. That's going to be fun. What else are we going to be doing here? That's about it, man. Just hanging out, just getting through life one day at a time, making things better. Trying to be a better person, that's the goal of life. Try to be a better human being. Try to leave the world better than you found it and try to make things right. So, I know my old friend still listens and, hope she's doing well. And I miss her and, hope she comes back. That's all. And we're going to get there, buddy. We're going to get there. Everybody out there. I love you guys, man. You can follow us online at, what the fuck is the thing here? What do I say at the end here? Oh, yeah. You can follow us at Voices of Misery and Voices of Misery Podcast at gmail.com. All platforms, no matter what the platform is, it's at Voices of Misery, except for Instagram. There's a really nasty, nasty person who put some fucking funny-ass troll page out there. I still go back there and I laugh at it. I kind of wish they would add more shit to it, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. I guess they don't love me anymore. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Voices of Misery podcast.